Well, welcome to the workshop, and as you can see, the Guyatone has got frets, the tailpiece is back on, and it's playing after a fashion. Well, it occurred to me, doing this kind of restoration work, the more time, effort and care you put into it, the less it looks like you've actually done anything. After all the work that I've done, neck's been off, fretted, new inlays and all that business, it doesn't look any different, albeit a wee bit cleaner than it did when I first got it. So of course one of the things that I was unsure about was the age of the instrument. So I contacted a Guyatone expert in the States, sent him a photograph, and he thinks that this was probably made 1956 to 1958, around that period. And then I stumbled across this book, 1001 Guitars to Dream of Playing Before You Die, and there we go. 1957 Guyatone LG50, although this one has only got a single pickup. And when you look on the internet, there are quite a few variants of this shape. But there you go. So I think we will say that this was built circa 1957. One of the interesting phrases in this describing the guitar is that the action was notoriously high. Well, I think we now know why the action was notoriously high, and that has been remedied. So when I got the guitar, it didn't have any pickups or any electronics. Obviously I've been searching the internet thinking, oh, could I get a couple of original Guyatone pickups to put on here? What I didn't know is that Ry Cooder favours Guyatone pickups on some of his guitars, so that's made them really quite popular and very prohibitively expensive to buy. So I've been looking for some other pickups for it, but it also occurs to me, is that why there are no pickups on this? Did somebody take them off and they put them on their Cooder caster, so somebody's using my pickup somewhere? But anyway, I'll show you what I have got as what I think is a suitable replacement. Yeah, so after another bidding war on eBay, I've got these two pickups here. Unknown provenance really, but they are single coil. They do look age appropriate. I've had them on the Guyatone. They sound good, they work, they're nice and quiet. So actually I'm really dead chuffed that I managed to get a hold of these, and I'm looking forward to getting them on the instrument. So now the strings are on the Guyatone, and I know that it all kind of works physically. What I'm going to do is put it aside for a while, because I want to work on my replica and kind of bring it up to this stage. So let me show you where I'm up to with that. So I've just completed doing the bindings on the Navatone LG50. One thing that I've done slightly different to the original is I've put bindings around both the front edge and the back edge. That veneer, where it reaches the corner of the body, is incredibly fragile, so I think it's wise to actually put that binding around the back edge. Although it's not faithful to the original, I do think it's a worthwhile improvement. So the whole process, routing out the channel, isn't particularly interesting, but the interesting part is how I glued that plastic on, and I'll show you that now. So this is the interesting part. The plastic binding has been taped in place. No adhesive there yet, and what I'm going to use is acetone. And the idea is that as you introduce the acetone into that tiny gap between the wood and the plastic, it wicks through, melts the plastic, and the plastic adheres to the wood. And of course you need copious amounts of masking tape for this. So off we go. I've done some experiments, and the acetone doesn't seem to colour or stain the wood, which is good. So I say, it just wicks through, and then you put plenty of tape in. You don't have to remove all of the tape that you initially put down, because I say, it will go underneath that tape. So I've just got a little shaving of the ABS here, and what I'm going to try to do is just melt that in to the end there and get a really nice, so I should get a really good join there. Right, so that's it. We'll see what it looks like in the morning. Right, so here we are the next day, and I'm just going to use a cabinet scraper to take that plastic down to the veneer. So with it all scraped to more or less level, I'm just giving it a sand with some 500 grade paper, because obviously what I don't want to do is scratch the veneer, it being so thin, and also I don't really want to put any scratches in the ABS binding. So I've just taken the time to make up this simple jig, which will allow me to route out the cavity for the pickups. So I'll do this one obviously in this position and then relocate it further down to do the second pickup. I've also cut out here for the neck joint, the dovetail, and I've got this piece which will just slot in there, so that whilst I'm routing out the pickup cavity, I've got this smooth surface area, and the base of the router won't get caught on those edges. And the idea is that this guide follows that edge and yeah, cuts out the recess. So that's the next step. So what I'm going to do now is drill the hole in the side here for the jack socket. I'm doing that before the control cavity, because if I cut that wood away first, when I drill in that way, the back surface would burst out and splinter. So by doing it this way, I'll end up with a cleaner surface on the inside of that cavity. Right, that's thick enough. So there's a jack socket fitted, and you can see that it's in keeping with the original one. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. So just as on the original one, I'm going to use a Forstner bit for the majority of the control recesses. So there we are. There's the 3 holes drilled with the Forstner bit, and as you can see, the jack socket one then comes into the control compartment there. So yeah, all of that's gone very well. So after a bit more work, there is the completed body. Pickup recesses, volume and tone control, jack plug, 3-way selector switch, a channel here for the wires to run down, If you think it's a little bit wide, there's going to be a couple of extra switches put in there, but we'll talk about that in the next video. So until then, you take care, and again, thanks for showing interest in this project and all, of course, your messages of support. So yeah, take care. Cheers.